Now, I had somebody contact me about their horse being disrespectful, and what I normally tell people is that I've been doing this a long time, and I've never had a horse disrespect me yet. I've had a horse, that tried to kill me, but, he was doing what he had found out had served him well in his dealings with the human. One of the things that I tell people is that I hear them talking about the horse disrespecting, coming into your space and that kind of stuff. And what I normally tell people is that, it takes a human to teach a horse that it's okay to step over the boundaries. Because there's times when we want to pet on them, and there's times we want to love on them and do that kind of thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But one of the things that you want to do is teach that horse that you're going to be the one that makes that decision, all right, when that time's going to take place. And if you got a horse that starts becoming demanding and saying that, he wants to walk up there and get in your space and wants you to rub on him or what have you. One of my favorites is people that scratch their baby's butts on the tail, and pretty soon the horse is always turning around, backing up to them. What this lady was doing was backing her horse from the stall to the pasture. And I told this lady, I said, well, what you're expecting this horse to do is to draw a connection that you're backing her from the stall to the pasture, and that is a punishment for her because she's been coming up into your space. That's a pretty broad leap for a horse. What I tell people to do, though, is to learn how to be specific with your horse about when he's invited into your space. And that he's not allowed into your space until he is invited. Now, what I'm going to do with this horse is ask him to step back. Good. And stay right there. Then he's done what I asked him to do, so I pet him. Now, when I turn to walk away from this horse, good, you may see him prepare to lean forward and even say that he wants to come up. But what I'm going to do is I'm only going to allow him to come up when I've asked him. Now, I can ask him in a couple of different ways. One thing I can do is kiss to him. You see, for this horse, we didn't get a response. But now, I can start taking that slack out of this lead rope. And you can see this horse go to come up. Well, he don't want his head pulled on. So when he starts seeing this slack and feeling this come up, well, then he'll go ahead and move forward. Now, I'm going to ask him to stand back right there and just stay, and not to come up here until I've asked. Now, this is a horse that has problems with trusting, but if I was to skip some things and just go ahead and allow this horse to come into my space all the time, well, then I'm going to have another problem that probably somewhere down the road I'm going to have to correct. So I'm going to start teaching him from the very start when he's invited into my space. And it's like I tell people, I've trained Mustangs and horses that have never been touched and what have you, and every last one of them will stay back and stay far enough away from you to a distance where they feel safe and comfortable that, if something does happen, well, then they can respond and probably get out of the way. Now, you watch this horse. He was looking off at some people down there. Good. And I kissed to him, and for a split second when I kissed to him, he started to step forward. Now, what? Now, you know, the horse can decipher out when you want him to come into your space and when you don't, even when you don't have him on a lead rope. You know, and as you start teaching that horse to lead up, you know, well then he'll start getting the idea. Now watch this horse. Boom, boom, boom. Now, once again though, I'm going to put him back out there and let him stay. Now. Good. Good. You know, we're programmed a lot of times to think about things only at certain times. A lot of times the only time we think about leading this horse is when we got a halter and a lead rope on him. Yeah, the hook up's a great thing, but the greatest majority of the time, you know, we've been programmed for years to only think about certain things when we've got this horse in a halter and a lead rope. You know, you can bend this horse's head and never touch him. But as he learns to face up, and I've even had a few people tell me that they didn't like their horse facing up. All right, but you know, and I tell people a lot of times these horses, it's kind of like dealing with kids. You know, if they ever learn they can tell you no, oh buddy. All right, well, I'm hoping that I've got this covered in this video, but probably tomorrow I'm going to pull one up that does have a reputation for being a little pushy, and I'm going to show you how quick this horse can actually learn to stand back there and wait on me. Thank you.